I'm the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we are doing week 39 of our RPYT, Registered Prenatal Yoga Teacher Training, as accredited by Yoga Alliance. Each week we do a deep dive into a particular pose, and every week ending in a 2, week 2, 12, 22, 32, 42, and our grand finale, week 52, we do a sequence to help memorize the poses we've learned to date. So the pose of this week, week 39, is Happy Baby. Happy Baby, as you may recall, you can slowly go on your back, bring knees into chest for prenatal. We'll want to part the legs to make space for the baby. Commonly, people grab the inside, the big toe with their fingers like this. Grab the big toe, and you can get some massage benefits by rocking side to side. Happy Baby can be modified by doing a half Happy Baby, getting a little deeper into it. And it also can be modified to try to, move your hands to get a deeper stretch. It's a nice segue into reclined goddess pose, as we're all becoming goddesses at ShareLove.Fund, and that's Happy Baby for you. So we will weave that into our sequence of the day, but first I invite you to relax, unwind, take a comfortable seated position. Grab a blanket or a bolster block if you want to be upright. Often in pregnancy, it can feel really good to sit on a block and even have the legs straddled and lean forward a bit. The Share method is designed for incarcerated women, as you know. So we teach with nothing required, no blocks, no bolsters, because it's a little bit frustrating to be in custody of the state and watch a video saying, grab your bolster, when you don't have one. So you don't need it, but if you want it, go get it. I'm going to give everyone a minute to get what they need, because our participants have said that they like to do it live. They like the momentum. And so you don't have to pause. I will just give you a minute. You can get what you need, and we'll start the meditation. Please feel free to use the restroom, which can be frequent during pregnancy. Grab water, a hoodie, so you're comfortable. I know I love my socks and leg warmers, but I will see you in a minute. Get what you need. The meditation will be about 15 minutes. And it will focus on relieving anxiety, because anxiety is a big factor in pregnancy. And especially with our focus with incarcerated women, we really have developed ways to detach and not play into those anxious feelings and to kind of control them. So we will work on that. Getting in command of the feelings and learning how to de-escalate when the anxious feelings arise. Because once we are master of ourselves, then we can focus our energy in ways that serve us. So if you are ready with your comfort, things that you need for the meditation, maybe you wanted to switch rooms, sit in a chair, sit on the side of the bed. When you are comfortable, start to take a few breaths. And try to really think of your breath as a circle with no start or end. With the inhale and exhale being continuous. I'm going to share a little quote with you. So this is our Share Love Fund mugs. So our inaugural class, they designed the red logo. And we have here a little saying, strong back here. It's like this, strong back, soft front, wild heart, just be you. So we will think about this, just be you, for this meditation. And the dichotomy of being strong and soft together. And you defining you. So this is a guided mindfulness meditation for anxiety. You can be in this thunderbolt pose, crisscross applesauce, however feels comfortable. You can be in a chair or on the floor. Just take a minute to settle in to the posture you've chosen. You can move your neck side to side just to help yourself let go. If wiggling or moving helps you release, please feel free to do that. Maybe moving your arms side to side. Sometimes we have to contract and make things a little bit tighter before our body can let them go. If you feel very anxious, or if you just want to try it, you can clench your fists and even your face and then let it go. For our incarcerated women, it feels like there's no space. But then when you take someone in no space and you go like this, you have even less space. And then when you let go, your physical environment hasn't changed, but it feels like there's a little more space. So it's all relative. Things can always be worse, so we need to celebrate the blessings we have. We need to count our blessings where they may lie. That's sort of the premise of gratitude. So you're sitting comfortably on a chair on the floor. Now bring your attention to your spine and really try to focus on your spine lengthening, as if there's something pulling your tailbone down, crown of your head up. And as you are lengthening your spine, bring your attention to your breathing. Conscious deep breathing is a great tool for anxiety. Regulating your breath is a way to manage anxiety. Trying to make your exhale longer than your inhale. And you can think about your exhale being 2 parts longer than your inhale. That's a way to slow things down in your system. And when your system is a little bit calmer, those pangs of fear and anxiety start to quiet. For prenatal, we want to be very careful that safety is always number one. And so we never want to restrict anyone's breath or have lightheadedness. So definitely don't hold your breath. And when you all have your prenatal degrees, please don't tell your students to hold their breath if they're pregnant. But to the extent that it's comfortable, explore the depths of your breath, and to the extent it's comfortable, explore elongating the exhale and kind of play around with it. 1 count in and 2 counts out. I say counts and not seconds because it's very individual, everyone's lung capacity. So we're talking about ratios and we're not talking about the actual measurement, because that needs to be adjusted for what's safe for each individual. This is YouTube, so it's not reasonable for me to know you and to know your physical conditions. So as always, there's a medical disclaimer. Nothing herein shall be construed as medical advice. Use your own good judgment. Consult a doctor when needed. So now let's focus on our conscious deep breathing. And as you consciously deep breathe, feel empowered that you are practicing a really tried and true tool for managing anxiety. When you manage your breath, you can manage your mind and you can manage your anxiety, your emotions. Create a bubble of safety around you. Not be a ping pong ball or a yo-yo to the world, but be your own pillar of strength. Breathe in, imagining yourself as your own pillar of strength. Sometimes we lean on someone and we depend on someone, and when they let us down, our world turns upside down. But what if you were your own pillar of strength? Would that make you feel calmer? Knowing that everything you need is already inside of you? That somebody can make your day or let you down, but you still stand strong because you are your own pillar of strength. Begin to take deep breaths through your nose and then breathe out through your nose. Keep your mouth closed and inhale and exhale to continue to take deep breaths. Make your inhales deep and your exhales even deeper. Now, if it feels comfortable for you, and don't force it, but if it feels comfortable for you, inhale for a count of 5 and create space between the inhale and exhale for a count of 5. If it feels fluid, don't hold your breath, but if it feels fluid, and then exhale, and you can try to exhale for a count of 10. And just kind of play around with having, I don't want to say hold your breath, but experiencing space between the inhale and the exhale. And as we talked about the breath being a circle, a continuous circle with no start or end, think about the inhale, and then there's just space, but it's not holding the breath, but it feels continuous, and then the exhale, and the inhale, and then just space between the inhale and the exhale, and then the exhale longer. So do not hold your breath, do not feel out of breath, but to the extent that it doesn't feel strained, kind of play around with there being space between the inhale and exhale For those of you that ski, you can sort of think of this space as when you're going down the fall line. Like you're not on one edge and you're not on the other. You're not inhaling and you're not exhaling, but you're just right in between in sort of this open space. Maybe this no man's land. Not really guided, not really pushing an inhale or pushing an exhale. Just sort of floating for a moment. And we're going to take this meditation and turn it into the start of our practice and have our practice start with breath work today. So now that we're working on breath work, with each inhale, try to fill your lungs with oxygen, supplying the body with cleansing energy to help you cope with anxious feelings. For those of you that don't have anxiety, sometimes there are crises in our life, and this meditation can help you have a tool in your tool belt to manage that crisis should it arise. Also, everybody watching this, you're part of the registered prenatal teaching degree and as accredited by Yoga Alliance, so you're going to be prenatal teachers. And I will tell you, as a prenatal teacher myself, anxiety is a big part of pregnancy for a lot of people. So to be a great prenatal yoga teacher, it's important to be able to teach tools for coping with anxiety. Now, of course, nothing should be medical advice. If somebody has a severe anxiety problem, then they should see a doctor. But for ordinary day-to-day anxiety during pregnancy, these breathing techniques can help. So taking a deep breath, filling your body with oxygen can help cope with the anxious feelings. With each exhale, the body releases pent-up energy and it creates room for feeling calm, peace, and grounded. So let's practice this breath work. So this is a breath work for coping with anxiety. And we're just gonna fill the lungs up with oxygen. And when we exhale, feel a release. Now, sometimes I find when you inhale through the nose and you exhale through the mouth, that feels like a release. In prenatal, we want to make sure our breathing stays gentle. We don't want to exasperate the pregnancy. So be careful with the open mouth exhales. Definitely don't pant, but to the extent it is fluid and gentle, you can exhale through the mouth like this. Sometimes making a sound can help cope with anxiety. And you can also say the words, I inhale light and love, and I exhale all that doesn't serve me. Inhaling light and love, exhaling all that doesn't serve me. When you say the word silently in your head, it does not disrupt your breathing pattern, so you can practice saying the word silently in your head. I inhale light and love, and I exhale all that doesn't serve me. So let's do that 3 times together if it suits you. Again, this is not brainwashing. This is providing guidance and tools, and you can pick and choose what to take from this course. Like a buffet, we advocate critical thinking. So you need to be, there's a lot of information out there these days, and you need to be the decider of what you want to adopt, and that's empowering. So the guided practice is to say, I inhale light and love, and think in your head, I exhale all that doesn't serve you. As we inhale and exhale 3 times, that's the suggested practice for the day. But you're in control of what you tell yourself. Don't ever say anything just because somebody told you to. Always evaluate for yourself. Let us begin. Breathe in calm and out anxiety. I inhale. I am calm as I inhale. I exhale. I am surrendered. And let's practice that. Inhaling, I am calm. Exhaling, I surrender. Inhaling, I am calm, and exhaling, I surrender. Inhaling, I am calm, and exhaling, I surrender. Make yourself comfortable and do not try to fight anxiety when it comes. Remember, all storms pass, including this one. The storm of the anxiety will pass, just like every other thunderstorm, hurricane in nature. Sometimes you just need to go to that safe place deep inside, just like we do in a hurricane. Be safe, stay calm, be still, keep breathing. Try not to react, and let that storm pass. You can inhale, I am calm, and you can exhale, I surrender. You can go back to the inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose, and feel a calmness in the fluidity of that in and out the nose. Obviously, if your nose is stuffed up, you can modify through the mouth. And some of these old adages can help us. One is, it takes 2 to fight. So if your body is freaking out and you surrender and ignore it, saying, look at you getting all worked up over nothing. Wow, you're really having a tizzy fit. If you surrender and just kind of observe, wow, my heart's racing. Isn't that something? But if you don't play into it, if you just surrender and observe it without adding fuel to the fire, then it tends to subside. Like it takes 2, even with a person, when we say it takes 2 to fight, if someone is, say, getting all in a huff, and you just kind of stand there and listen, I mean, eventually they stop because they're not getting out of you that reaction that they wanted. You know, when your body gets all worked up, it kind of needs you to get all worked up too to keep it going. When you ignore that workup, it eventually fizzles out. You can inhale, I am calm, and exhale, I surrender. Now we're trying the breath work in and out of the nose again, like a fluid circle, creating space between the inhale and the exhale, and trying to have the exhale 2 parts longer than the inhale. Now we can focus on linking those breaths, and we can think of 1 part inhale, 1 part space between the inhale and the exhale, and 2 parts exhale. Again, don't strain it, but that is that breath work challenge, and they wouldn't call it work if it wasn't work. Sorry for the cheesy jokes. My kids get mad at me for them. But breath work is shockingly work, so let's work at it now. We're doing 1 part in to the extent that it's comfortable, 1 part between the inhale and exhale, and 2 parts on the exhale. When we do the inhale, we are thinking of the words, I am calm, and when we're exhaling, we are thinking of the words, I surrender. Let us begin. I am calm. I surrender. I am calm. I surrender. Please do this at your own pace. I say parts and not seconds because everybody's breath is a little bit different. You're trying to expand your breath, elongate it, but not hold your breath, not feel lightheaded or uncomfortable. I'm not going to say the words now, I am calm and I surrender, but you can think them as you breathe in 1 part. Create space between the inhale and the exhale for 1 part, and exhale for 2 parts. We're going to try to take 3 breaths like this, linking them. I am calm, creating space between the inhale and the exhale, and exhaling, I surrender. When gross sensations of anxiety come up, gracefully deepen your breaths and observe the sensations and feelings of anxiety. Without resisting it, become curious, study it, observe it. So this is how to take the power seat, how to gain control when your body is freaking out, or if you are in a relationship or dealing with someone who's freaking out. Standing back and just saying, wow, that's a freak out. Observing it, studying it, saying, wow, that is really some big feelings. Getting curious about it. Like, wow, that's quite an uproar. I'm curious about why one gets into such an uproar, or why I got into such an uproar, or why you got into such an uproar. Approaching anxiety with curiosity makes it a little less scary, and it helps us distance ourselves from it, put it in its place. Another technique that some people use is to give it a name, like a silly name, you know, like Captain Underpants or something. Like, okay, here comes Captain Underpants, and you know, sort of embarrass your anxiety a little bit. You know, when dealing with a person, you know, I encourage being compassionate and not calling people names, but these are things you can sort of think in your head to sort of distance yourself from engaging and to keep yourself curious and try to observe and study what's going on instead of you know, sinking to the level of it. Rise above it. Take a bird's eye view of anxiety, stress, hostility when it comes into your life. Soar above it. Look down upon it curiously. Let's take a moment to just visualize yourself in an anxious or stressful situation, or those anxious feelings in your body that may come up, and just imagine yourself when that feeling comes. You just imagine yourself soaring above it like a bird. Maybe you want to imagine yourself as a huge, expansive, bald eagle, just soaring above it like a righteous, confident, really wide wingspan bald eagle, just looking down at that anxious moment curiously. As if it was maybe a baby bird getting all worked up, and the bald eagle is thinking curiously, oh, why bother? And, you know, just taking a bird's eye perspective, separating yourself, giving yourself the credit that you're above it, that you don't have to engage, that engagement is a choice, and that you have the ultimate control over your mind. You get to choose how to value things and what to give weight to. Repeat the following after me. I am feeling anxious, but it is okay. I'm feeling anxious, but it's okay. This is where acceptance comes in yoga as a tool. Accepting things as the current state of affairs does not mean that you like it. It means that you recognize the issue, and then you can begin to use your tools to address it. So sometimes we try to suppress the anxiety, and that can lead to anticipatory anxiety, like being afraid that you might freak out, so you start freaking out because you're worried you might freak out. This approach of just letting yourself freak out and then just acknowledging, wow, I'm feeling really anxious right now. It's okay. To come to terms with acknowledging and accepting that you may be feeling anxious, that can be a tool that may, for some people, completely eliminate their anticipatory anxiety. If you stop being afraid that you might become highly anxious, then you don't need to be preemptively afraid that you might be highly anxious. This might be a little bit confusing, but for people who do have anticipatory anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. Also, we encourage questions, comments on our Teachable platform. You're welcome to also post questions, comments on YouTube. However, to streamline our practices and to make sure dollar for dollar the money goes to serving our customers who are either funding our outreach programs or our scholarship students on Teachable, to make sure that our scholarship students are number one. We focus and definitely respond to all comments on Teachable, and the other social media platforms is more on a volunteer basis. We don't use any donor dollars for social media, so everything goes to actually the people who need it. Repeat after me. This feeling of anxiety will pass, and I will be safe. This feeling of anxiety will pass, and I will be safe. You can use the breath work technique we discussed. Inhale. It will pass. Create space between the inhale and the exhale, and then elongate the exhale. Try to do the 2-part ratio, and I will be safe. For very experienced breathers, you can do even longer exhale than the 2 parts, and you already know that. It will pass, and I will be safe. It will pass, and I will be safe. Let's do this at your own pace. Again, trying to link the inhale with the exhale. It will pass. And I will be safe. You can say it in your head at your own pace. This is also a tool that pregnant people can use during labor and delivery. It will pass, and I will be safe. You know, a big scare for first-time pregnancies is, how the heck are you going to get this thing out of me? And you know, I'm a mom of 3 kids and went through 3 pregnancies, and you know, that was really scary. I had gestational diabetes. I was huge, and you know, and so that was really scary, being so big and thinking that. But you can say, it will pass, and I will be safe. And of course, I don't have a crystal ball, and we're not mystics here. This is a very practical vocational training. However, being positive and having positive self-talk and positive visualization gives you your best chance of success. So it's just like giving yourself a point or a leg up. You know, it's obviously not determinative. There's many factors that go on. It's not reasonable for me to know all the factors in your life. Even you can't know all the factors, but what we do know is that people who engage in positive thinking and positive self-talk, who calm themselves down, who lower their stress, they are able to optimize whatever situation they have. So here, we're not guaranteeing magic results. We're just putting you in the best position possible so you get the most out of your life. so that you can optimize, maximize, reach your fullest potential. Let us breathe now. It will pass. And exhale, I will be safe. Linking the breaths. One part inhale, it will pass, creating space between the two breaths, about the length of the inhale, and exhaling, I will be safe. Trying to do it 2 parts ratio from the inhale, or even longer if you can. I will be safe. Just drag that out. You will be safe. You will be safe. You will be safe. Just imagine yourself going on that road of safety. You will be safe, is what you're telling yourself. I may be frightened, but I know that I am in no harm. Now, this can be really scary in pregnancy because a little information can be a dangerous thing. And there are real harms and there are real risks in pregnancy. So definitely consult with a doctor. I don't want anyone telling me later that they did my meditation and they didn't see a doctor, but the meditation told them they're in no harm. I have no idea what's going on with your baby. So, use your own good judgment. But to the extent that you're waiting for the doctor, or or it's not a red flag and you don't need to call the doctor, I guess what I'm thinking about is later term, you're supposed to monitor if the baby's moving so often and stuff like that. So definitely do the protocol the doctor's told you. Don't, if your baby's not moving later, don't just do a meditation, address the medical issue. But to the extent that there's no medical issue to address, then for the general person having an ordinary anxiety attack, which is not a panic attack, but just like an ordinary anxiety freak out, you're actually not in physical harm for just a run-of-the-mill anxiety kind of freak out. And that is important to remind yourself. For more severe things, get medical attention, but telling yourself I am in no harm can be a way to calm yourself down while you're waiting for the doctor or something like that. Or if you can't do anything about it. I'll just give a little example about this. But basically, we had a student who her ears didn't equalize on scuba diving, and she did tear her eardrum, and she did have like some blood in her mask and stuff. But basically, she couldn't do anything about it at the time. So she said, I may be frightened, but I know that I'm not in no harm. And just telling herself that it wasn't really harmful enabled her to calm down. Because she was calm, she didn't exasperate the injury and get bends. Because she was calm, she took the time to elevate her surface to come to the surface from scuba diving the proper slow way, so that she didn't create bubbles in her blood and stuff. And so she didn't cause more harm to herself because she told herself, I'm in no harm. So sometimes, whether or not you're in some harm, if you're doing all you can to be on track to see a doctor, then saying I am in no harm is a way to calm yourself down so you don't increase your injury, like in the scuba diving story. So let's practice the breath work with that. I may be frightened, but I know that I'm in no harm. So we're going to breathe in one part. I may be frightened. We'll create space between the two phrases, and then we'll exhale 2 parts longer or even longer. But I know that I am in no harm. I may be frightened. But I know that I'm in no harm. I may be frightened, but I know that I'm in no harm. I may be frightened with your inhale, creating space between the inhale and exhale, but I know that I'm in no harm. Exhale and elongate it like you're free. You know that you're not in any harm. So please do this at your own pace, because deeper breathing is more therapeutic, but it needs to be within your comfort zone. So let's expand this. Also, as we continue through this breath work practice today, try to get deeper and deeper into your breath. Really try to expand your lung capacity. I may be frightened as your inhale, creating space between the inhale and exhale, and then exhale, but I know that I'm in no harm. I may be frightened, creating space between the inhale and exhale, but I know that I'm in no harm. Inhale, I may be frightened. Yeah. Creating space, doing that free fall as if you're skiing. You're not on either edge. You're not inhaling or exhaling, but you're just floating there. And then exhale and just really try to elongate it like you're shooting a rocket. But I know that I'm in no harm, and just see how far that goes. You just see, or like a firecracker in the distance. I know that I'm in no harm with your exhale. So let's try that. I won't speak so that you can do it at your own pace. Think about linking the breaths together. So we'll try 3 breaths. Inhale, I may be frightened. Creating space between the inhale and exhale, about the same length as your inhale. And then exhaling, but I know that I'm in no harm, and just see how far that exhale can go without causing stress on your body. And we'll try to link that like 3 times, and imagine all of that happening in like a perfect circle, which is really hard. I am relaxing comfortably as I wait for this feeling to pass. And we'll do that 3 times. Inhaling, I am relaxing comfortably, creating space between the 2 breaths. And then again, just seeing how far it can go out as I wait for this feeling to pass. And you can imagine this feeling of anxiety as a white sailboat on a beautiful, calm ocean, just going into the distance, in the horizon, getting smaller and smaller. And maybe your breath is the wind in the sails, just pushing it away. But I know that it will pass, and you're blowing wind into that sailboat, pushing it away until it's a tiny speck, sending it off. Go bother someone else. I'm not interested in your anxious feelings. You can tell your anxiety. You can belittle it and embarrass it. You can call it Captain Underpants. You can imagine a big underwear as the white sail, as like stupid and silly, and you're just like, that's gross, and blowing it away. You can mock it to rise above it. You can imagine yourself as the eagle. You know, these are all just suggestions. You have to do what resonates for you. Inhaling, I am relaxing comfortably, and exhaling as I wait for this feeling to pass. Inhaling, I'm relaxing comfortably, pausing between the two, creating space, and then exhaling, blowing it away as I wait for this feeling to pass. And for this, we can practice the exhale through the mouth, like really blowing away the sail. Also, a fun fact is blowing like this with our lips together. That also strengthens the pelvic floor, and that is a way to gain strength in your pelvic floor, which is really helpful after pregnancy, and we go through it in our postpartum YSAP, our 30-hour postpartum YSAP. Also on Teachable, which I hope you'll join after, and you get a little discount. When you are done with this course, you'll see a little discount code for the postnatal. A lot of yogis say to do pelvic floor work while you're pregnant, that will help with delivery. I personally did not think that. I feel like if the baby's gonna come out, then why be so firm or something? So, but I do think that in hindsight, the stronger you are going into pregnancy and during pregnancy, the easier it is to bounce back and regain that strength. So it's really hard to build muscle that you've never had before postpartum. So in that respect, like I guess for how quickly and how well you can bounce back with respect to that, I think it does make sense to do pelvic floor exercises during pregnancy. So you can think of this as a pelvic floor exercise. I am relaxing comfortably. Inhale, creating space between the two, and then breathing out through sort of fish lips as I wait for this feeling to pass. And you're using those fish lips to blow that sailboat off into that distance. As I wait for this feeling to pass, you're imagining anxiety to be a sailboat, and you're just blowing wind in the sails, just pushing it away. I'm relaxing comfortably as I wait for this feeling to pass. I have the power within me to relax and calm myself until it passes. Again, you can just keep breathing through this. I have the power within me to relax and calm myself until it passes. Everything you need is inside of you. Sometimes an anxiety feeling is exasperated because we think, oh my gosh, I need to get out of the car or off of the plane, or I need water, or I need to speak to my child, or I need to get out of here, or something. And telling yourself, actually, everything you need to calm down is already inside of you. Telling yourself that is empowering. We can inhale. I am feeling anxious, but it's okay. And we'll just come back to that. Reminding yourself, I'm feeling anxious, but it's okay. Sometimes we feel anxious, and then that's a trigger. Just a little bit of feeling of anxiety is a trigger, and we feel more anxious. But what if you tell yourself, What if you notice that anxious feeling and you kind of respond, so what? I'm feeling anxious, and so what? I'm feeling anxious, and it's okay. What if you don't really care? Like, cool, that's an anxious feeling. You know, sometimes you can get a paper cut and not react. It's like saying, okay, my finger is slightly bleeding from a paper cut, but I don't really care because I'm late and I have other things to do. What if you treated anxious feelings like a paper cut? Like, yeah, I'm feeling anxious today and I just don't really care. Like, you know what, body, you can be anxious and I'm gonna go on and focus on my to-do list. Thank you very much. I'm feeling anxious, but it will be okay. Can go back to, it will pass and I will be safe. You can repeat with me, it will pass and I will be safe. I may be frightened, but I know that I am in no harm. And as we're saying these phrases in your head, continue to work on lengthening your breath and continue to work on your breath work, having a full circle with no start and no end. It's an aspirational goal. I don't even know an instructor who claims to be able to feel that their breath is seamless, is perfectly seamless, but just continue to work on that. This is breath work, our breath work portion of the course or breath work practice. I'm relaxing comfortably as I wait for this feeling to pass. I may be frightened, but I know that I'm in no harm. Breathe in slowly. Continue to think calming and comforting thoughts. I have the power within me to relax myself and calm myself until it passes. Continuing to breathe and expand your breath, explore the depths of your breath as you continue to think about calming and comforting thoughts. When you are anxious, your body prepares to either fight or run away. This makes your heart pump more oxygen to your muscles to give them strength to either fight or escape. when you have an anxiety feeling and you are in no danger, that adrenaline being produced in your body is not being used. You're trembling or feeling overwhelmed because your body is ready for action. Continue to work on your breath work, continuing to try to make a full circle with no start and no end, continuing to elongate your exhale and find the depths of your breath expansion. This is breath work because it's work. You can reduce the trembling by shaking off the tension from your body. Shake your hands as if you want to dry them. Let them become limp as you shake them vigorously. Obviously, don't hurt your wrist, but you can shake out your hands. Try to not tense up your shoulders because I feel like that can increase anxiety, but just like loose, like if you're trying to get something gross off, like, oh, get it away from me. Don't shake it like freaking out because that's holding in. Shake it like you have mud on it and you're just trying to get it away from you because that will relax your shoulder and help. Let your wrists become limp as you shake them vigorously. Visualize drops of water dropping from your fingertips. Imagine each drop of water is tension. Visualize the tension as it is shaken from your body. Stop shaking your hands and notice how you feel. Maybe you feel a bit at ease, or maybe the anxiety is still there. Just observe. Keep breathing deeply as you allow your mind to become calmer. As you breathe in, tell yourself that you are getting calm. Breathe out and remind yourself that you are getting relaxed. Breathe in calm. Breathe out tension. Breathe in relaxation. Breathe out anxiety. Now let us focus on relieving stress from our muscles. Become aware of your muscles. Notice the ones that feel tight or tired. If you are clenching your teeth, lower jaw, and let it relax. Drop your shoulders. Remembering to focus on your breath, as this is a breath work exercise. Remembering to continue to expand your breath. Move your arms in a circular motion. Oops. You can move them one way or another way. You can move them together or opposite, like forward. You can move them with your breath as you inhale and release as you exhale at your own pace of the inhale and exhale. Move them the opposite way. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale at your own pace. You can also move them more like a backstroke. This can be a little bit deeper of a stretch. Remember, for prenatal, we cannot twist or torque our torso, so you want to keep your torso square forward. You can do a little backstroke, a little freestyle, and feeling that stretch in the back. And you can think of your breath as a circle. As you continue to work on your breath work, adding the kinetic movement of your arms to get a little deeper into relaxation and to help physically visualize the continuity of your breath. Notice how your arms begin to feel loose and relaxed. Now raise your arms and actually stretch. You can, without twisting or tweaking the torso, you can, shimmy it up a little bit, pedal it up, climb the rope, reaching up and then relaxing the shoulders. Reaching up and relaxing the shoulders. You can reach up on your inhale and drop your shoulders on your exhale. Reaching up and dropping your shoulders, continuing to work on the fluidity of your breath. Reaching up with your inhale, creating space between the inhale and exhale, and relaxing your shoulders on the exhale. And really feeling a rhythm, linking breaths between the stretch up, the no man's land, and relaxing on the exhale. You can continue this until you feel a rhythm. Inhale, one part, space between the inhale and exhale, a little sort of half relaxation on the shoulder, I guess. And then just really kind of drop it. Shoulder for the long exhale. expand the limits within the safe zone and thinking, this is kind of like child's pose for your shoulders. Enjoy it, elongate the exhale, and then when it's time for another breath, reach up, inhale. You can do this with both arms. Inhale, space in between the inhale and exhale, relaxing the shoulders on the exhale, elongating it, hanging out, engaging your core. Inhale, creating space, and exhale, 2 parts at your own pace, linking the breaths together. Inhale, creating space between the inhale and exhale, being careful to not swallow your breath, and exhale, or through your nose. And you can kind of think of it as a circle as well to visualize this continuity and circular aspects of your breathing, your cycle of breathing. Slowly release all the muscles and let your hands rest in your lap. Straighten your spine and let your body adapt to an upright posture. So you can kind of play around with the hips a little bit to just, if you wiggle it a little bit, then you can make sure you're upright. So sometimes we have to lean back and then overextend a little too much forward to just find that balance. When you find the balance, your spine should be stacked, so it should be comfortable. You shouldn't have to stress to pull your shoulders back, or it shouldn't be too much work. If it's hard to find that position, then a great helpful tool, if you have it, is to sit on anything. It can be a book. When you sit on something, then what happens is the knees become lower than the hips, and this is sort of the yogic way of sitting, with the knees lower than the hips, and this just like naturally pops you into place. So I always tell people, at work and stuff, like sit on a hoodie or sit on something or sit on the edge of your chair and kind of like lean forward and back. But this is like a great little cheat to just get yourself aligned, get your spine aligned, because what happens is when we don't have a block, our tailbone tends to curl under us and we tend to be a little more curled. So then we compensate for that thinking that we're hunchback, but we're not. We compensate for that by throwing the shoulders back, but we still haven't fixed the problem. The problem isn't to be leaning back and throw your shoulders back, because that creates neck tension and shoulder tension. The fix here is rolling forward. Like there wasn't actually the problem that we thought with this upper back curve. We think that that's the problem. That's not actually the problem for most people. Because when you tilt the hips forward, that curve naturally goes away. So instead of just tilting the hips forward and having that curve naturally go away, what most people do is they throw out the back. So now we have the lower back is curved, the upper back has tension, and that's going to lead to upper back and lower back problems. Prenatal, when you're pregnant, you already have extra body weight, you're already susceptible to back problems. So that just makes everything worse. So I recommend finding your proper alignment. If you have the ability to sit on something, the edge of your chair, or while you're sitting down, a block to kind of tilt the hips forward, this is an amazing cheat. And it pops you into place. You don't have to work on, I need good posture, I'll put my shoulders back. This is not good posture. This is neck tension. When your spine is properly stacked, your shoulders fall into place. Most of us don't have as bad posture as we think. We're just not getting our base into alignment. Once you get that bottom into alignment, the rest is fine. You know, it's about the foundation. Everything is connected like that song. The hip bone's connected to the, you know, etc. So it's all connected. So when you get the base upright, the rest follows. And my other example that I like to say with this is, you know, we are an upright species, okay? We don't crawl, we don't hunch. Like, we were actually built to be upright. So our natural disposition is upright. So if you just set yourself up for success, then your posture will be great because your body naturally is designed to be upright. So it's working with what your body already wants to do. The momentum is already working for you, and most of us just don't realize that. Okay, so back to business, back to breath work. Hopefully you're breathing and working on your breath work that whole time. Okay, so we slowly release our muscles, resting our hands in our lap, and we're going to straighten our spine and let the body adopt the upright posture. Now you are relaxed, and all the anxiety has rolled off of you. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale, continuing to work on your breath. You can practice this meditation anytime you feel anxious. All of our live YouTube is also has a transcript, so you can literally copy paste the transcript and use this meditation for yourself, for your students. It's copyrighted, but we welcome you to have practical use. You just can't publish it and say it's yours, but you can publish it and give us credit. This is your tool anytime you or your students feel anxious. Move your head from left to right. Look side by side and straight ahead. And then come back to center. When you are ready, gently come to open your eyes. So here, let's take a moment to stretch, and we'll conclude our breath work and our meditation, and then our breath work we did, and we learned Happy Baby, and we'll just conclude it all with some feel-good restorative yoga for about 10 minutes. So here, slowly come to a resting position. If you are further along in your pregnancy and you don't feel comfortable on your back, you can modify by being on your side. So whether you are on your side or on your back, we're going to just do a little restorative yoga. So you can bring one knee into your chest, but to the side to make space for the baby. And we'll do a hip circle outward. 1, 2, 3. Now, keeping in the theme of breath work, you can think of your breath as a continuous circle and use your breath to get a deeper stretch here. So please do it at your own pace. So with your own breathing pace, you can think of inhale, bringing your knee up to your armpit, and then as you exhale, bringing it out and all around, because as we said, the exhale should be a little bit longer for the calming effect. And inhale and exhale all around, and inhale and exhale all around. Let's do it in the opposite rotation. And I'll be silent so you can do it at your own pace. You can tie in the mantras we learned, like I feel anxious and I know I'm going to be okay. When you feel ready, you can just give it a little hug. Be your own pillar of strength. Everything you have is already inside of you. You don't need this or that. You can always give your leg a hug. Your leg can be your teddy bear, your source of comfort. You can bring it down and bring the other leg in and give it a hug because it was a little jealous. So we want to have equal opportunity for our legs. And you can inhale it to your armpit and bring it around. Now, if it feels more comfortable, sorry, I didn't put my phone on do not disturb, so I apologize, but we'll do the circles this way, in the armpit, and around, and in the armpit, and around, using the breath, and around the other way. Bringing the knees, about that. Okay, I apologize. Okay, so we will continue. We'll bring the knees into the chest. Oh, sorry, we need to roll. Oh, wait. So we'll roll it in the other way. 1, 2, 3. We'll bring the knees into the chest again. And we will raise the feet up. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can leave one leg firmly planted on the ground. You can bring it up to your comfort level, but we're doing this because this is our restorative class, and inversions are really restorative. So it may be hard to do a handstand pregnant, but this is an inversion. So this is something that may be a little less scary. You can be against a wall when you do this, and that is an option too. To lean your legs against a wall. And this is also a hamstring stretch. You can get a core workout by coming up. We won't do the side to side and obliques because we don't want any twists or turns in prenatal. We want to keep the torso aligned. And to relax out of this, you can give your legs a hug again. Be your own pillar of strength. And this is a nice segue into Happy Baby. So in Happy Baby, you can rock side to side. Really massage the spine. Trying to stretch the hamstrings, open up the hips. You can think about the sacrum being pointed to the back wall and trying to connect every little nook and cranny of your spine to the mat. You can bring your chin into your chest and roll your head back, and even think about, could my entire neck connect with the mat? And this can be an aspirational goal. Traditionally, we hold our fingers around our big toe. You can try to do a little deeper stretch, holding onto the heels. You can get a deeper stretch with happy baby on one side or happy baby on the other. Bringing your legs down with your feet on each side of the mat. You can windshield wiper your knees. We want to be careful not to twist our torso, but this can stretch a little bit. You can, without twisting your torso, add a little pressure for a little bit deeper of a stretch. Come out of it on the other side. You can do that. Coming up, we can put our feet together in reclined goddess pose. Your arms can be cactus arms or above you. Again, if you feel, if you're in your third trimester and this is too much time on your back, you can come up to your side, and also you can do reclined goddess, supported reclined goddess, as we've done in many other classes, where you use blocks, bolsters, or wherever you can find around the house to prop yourself up. Here we'll just take a few minutes to breathe, honor our practice today, and try to focus on your breath and remind yourself that no matter what is going on in your life, you always have your breath, and you can control your breath. And by controlling your breathing is how to achieve self-mastery, because your breath can change your mood depending on how fast or slow you're breathing, and your mood can help you control your thoughts, and having control of your thoughts can help you be the master of yourself. When you feel ready, you can grab a hold of your knees, and we'll do this holding our knees. We'll come to our side this way so that we make sure not to twist our torso. And just like in one fall swoop, lean it over, and then very slowly at your own pace, come up to a seated position. We'll take a few breaths here together. You did great. May the light in me be the light in you. Have a blessed day. Namaste.